I love musical theater. Nobody does it better than Queen's Musical Theater. I'm joined by Gemma Varty and Christina Licitalosi. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
So, big project this year coming up, Funny Girl.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, what made you choose that?
I love the story of Funny Girl. I think that not only does it have a great history of Fanny Brice, the main character, it has a lot of history of Broadway itself and how theater has grown from the 1910s with the Follies being introduced to it, and also the history of Barbra Streisand, because she has a long-rooted history in that as well. And the story is just an incredible, fun one with lots of dancing and singing, and it's really the story of like being true to yourself and embracing who you are, and I love that.
And we all need that these days, absolutely. Christina, you play Fanny Brice.
Yes.
All right. What was the biggest challenge in, especially after following an icon like Barbra Streisand that we associate with Funny Girl?
Yeah, I think that kind of is the challenge, is kind of bringing myself to it and not trying to copy what I've seen on the big screen, and bringing the character to life while also incorporating Christina into it.
True, yeah. You're playing Fanny Brice and you're the director.
Yes, yeah.
And is this your first opportunity to direct a musical?
This is my first time directing, and I'm so excited to be doing it, and I'm absolutely loving every second of it.
Oh, that must be great. And is this your first go at being leading? You're the lead.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to have some experience in musical theater, playing, being in a bunch of musicals and stuff like that, but this is the first time playing a role of this stature. It's quite a big part, so I'm very fortunate to take it on.
Oh, it must be really exciting, yeah. Tell me the story of Fanny Brice.
Yeah, well, Funny Girl follows the story of Fanny Brice, who starts out a very young starlet who really wants to just make it in the theater scene. So she moves and she tries to, you know, find her ground, her footing, but the world tells her that she doesn't belong. And instead of letting that knock her down, she embraces it, and she becomes what the show is called, a funny girl. And she uses that to her favor, and she becomes a comedian. And we also follow the love story, which inevitably comes up, and it's a story of love and heartbreak, and it's a show for everyone. I think that many audiences can enjoy it.
Well, especially understanding at that time that women weren't supposed to be comedians.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They just weren't.
Yes.
This was the 1920s?
1910s to 20s,
1910s to 20s. And because that was a more recent thing. That was more the maybe Gracie Allen kind of thing, and that didn't come along until the 40s, 50s. Mm-hmm. So
totally.
she was really ahead of her time in many ways.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So follows that story. You've got a cast of how many?
We have a cast of 21.
So what was it like trying to boss around a bunch of free spirits?
Oh, it's incredible. It's so much fun. I love going to rehearsal and being with the people. Like, it's one of the best opportunities and experiences that I've ever had. Yeah.
What's it like taking a script? Is there any change that you can make, or do you have to stay absolutely true to every word of the script as it's handed to you?
A really exciting challenge being a director is taking what you're given, because you're not allowed to make any changes to the script, but taking the script and changing how lines are said or blocked, so that making the story your own, because the script has very detailed like stage directions that you are supposed to do, but those you can change. And what's exciting is being able to change those and change the story a little bit in how it's directed and how it's said, and how the movement on the stage also changes the story and influences it as well. And that's a really exciting challenge.
So you could take something and make it a little more racy if that's the direction you want to go.
Potentially, yeah.
Like for example, just the way
if you wanted to make a statement more with it, you could definitely make that decision.
And so how did you decide it should look? What was your decision?
I think one of my biggest influencing factors was the people who are in it and their stories, and how their stories and what they've experienced ultimately influences the character as well. Like for Christina, for example, I think has a lot of similarities to Fanny Brice in a way, and I wanted to find ways that also her story can influence how she portrays Fanny, because she's a rising star on Broadway in my mind too. So if we can find a way to bring that to the stage, it was really exciting to do that.
And you mentioned that you've already got a fan out there. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I was fortunate enough to, I share a lot of videos online, and I have an online presence. So I shared a little clip sharing the exciting news that I was going to be playing Fanny in the school production. And the Broadway understudy, Julie Benko, she sent some words of wisdom and some encouraging messages online, which was so exciting to see. We all, as a cast, kind of freaked out when we
Yeah,
saw
it was
that.
super exciting.
Very exciting, and just so humbling to know that there's people who are working at such a professional level who are willing to take time to extend, you know, kind messages to us. It's just so great.
Well, tell us who that is.
Yeah, that's Julie Benko, who plays the understudy in Funny Girl on Broadway.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so she has kind of made it, and she's reaching out to somebody who will make it.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool.
So you mentioned that you've been in musical theater for a while. Tell me about some of your other projects. Where were they? What were they?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of stuff through school. I've been very fortunate that my program is a Bachelor of Music Theater program, so I do a lot of performing here in Kingston. This is my 4th show working with Queen's Music Theater. I've loved being a part of this club. And yeah, it's just been so great. We did Little Women, we've done 9 to 5 last semester, and now as I'm about to graduate, to go out on such an iconic role in Funny Girl is just so great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what comes next after graduation? Is this June?
Yes.
Right. What comes next?
Yeah, so because my program is such performance-based, I'm hoping to continue in the performance field, and I'm fortunate enough to be with a talent agent, and her and I work together to try to get some professional opportunities in the theater, and I also teach voice lessons. That's kind of been a thing that I've developed, my own voice studio during my undergrad, so kind of a bit of both, and trying to find my footing in the performance industry.
Good for you.
Thank
Good for
you.
Wow. And what are your plans?
Because I'm in life sciences, so I'm hoping to go to medical school after graduation, which is really exciting.
Rather, and needed,
Yeah.
really needed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, so many plans. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about where it's going to be. When is it going to be? How much is it going to cost? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so our show dates are April 7th to 16th, and we'll be performing at the Isabel Bader Studio Theater, which is really exciting because it's the first time that QMT has done a show there. And the tickets will be between $15 and $30, and there'll be a discounted price for students, seniors, and children. And we're really excited to be able to show it off for everyone.
And it's in April?
It is April 7th to 16th, yeah.
And if I want to buy a ticket, how do I go about doing that?
So you can go through our Instagram. We'll bring you to our website, which is www.queensmusicaltheatre.ca, and we'll have a link to buy tickets there.
Sounds wonderful. Have a wonderful time. Break a leg.
Thank you, yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.